Hey, good morning, millionaires. What's up? Give me a replay, gang, if you're checking out the replay. Make sure you check in with your city, what kind of business you have. That's an opportunity for free promotion. And then like, comment, share, subscribe to this thing. You know?
You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, this is Les Brown, and you're in the right place at the right time because we're going to bring the millionaire out of you. Please enter your.
Yeah, let them know where you at.
Thank you. Please announce yourself. All participants are muted. Entry and exit tones are off.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. The grind includes Friday. Am I right? Check-in time. Let them know where you from. Let them know, where you checking in from, what kind of business you have, how you help the planet. How do you help us? We all got problems. I don't know if you ever thought about this, right? But there's literally like no excuse for having money problems when everybody got every other kind of problem. You know what I mean? We are all willing to trade a couple of dollars for less problems. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? There's no excuse for having money problems when everybody has problems that they're willing to trade money to solve. We would all trade $5 to solve a $10 problem. We would all trade $100 to solve a $500 problem. Is that a fact? We would all, listen, everybody you talk to is already pre-sold because everybody you talk to is looking for solutions to their problem. And the reason I mention this is because yesterday we were talking about how instead of watching the news, what's up, Alexandria? My man D Money in the house. What's up? What's up? Instead of watching the news, we were talking about how what we want to do is start reading. Right, Tanisha? Right? My man Willpower in the house. Is that a fact? Vita Lachey? We said we were going to start reading more. And there's one author that we talked about yesterday that I feel like we would all do well to read more of his stuff, and that's Napoleon Hill. Now, everybody knows about the legendary book, Think and Grow Rich. Appreciate that share, Crystal. But do you know about how to sell your way through life? This joint came out in 1939. Somebody write that in the comments. How to sell your way through life. How to sell your way through life. And he gave a whole bunch of like these master qualities. These qualities that make somebody a master salesman. These are qualities that any master salesman has to develop. And so your challenge this morning is not just to listen to what I say and be like, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I knew that already. Because that's the thing about a lot of salespeople. They already know everything. The problem is they don't do it. I put that on my Facebook yesterday. The challenge is not trying to figure out when to stop, and when to start. The challenge is getting in the habit of starting. Somebody write this in the comments. How to sell your way through life. How to sell your way through life, right? If you're going to get the maximum value from what you're reading, then what you got to do is go into it with an open mind that you are looking for opportunities for improvement. If you are already as good as you can get, well, now life gets scary. What you want to do is listen to each one of these categories I give you, and you want to rate yourself from 1 to 10 from your present level of competence. Can I get that? Can I get your commitment to that? Appreciate that, whoever liked it. Can y'all like and share this? I keep forgetting to ask that. Can y'all please like and share this, please? Like, comment, share. Yeah. All right. So these 9 qualities that I'm about to give you are all about personal makeup, self-organization. I want to know how you rate on all 9 of these. Here's the first one: a pleasing personality. A pleasing personality. I was talking about it the day before yesterday with one of my buddies about how at the end of the day, When you're praying for an opportunity, you know what you're praying for? A person. You know what I mean? Opportunities show up looking like people, y'all. Opportunities show up looking like work, but they also show up looking like people. So the master salesman has acquired the art of making himself agreeable to other people. Sometimes your sarcasm is misplaced. Sometimes the jokes that you crack are misplaced. And what it does is it starts to limit your opportunities, right? You have to understand that the person that you're selling to got to buy you as well. The prospect ain't just buying whatever it is you offer. The prospect is buying you, because what the prospect knows is that normally all hell breaks loose with all their decisions. Think about it. They had a horrible marriage or a last relationship. Think about it. They chose some degree in college that they don't even use. Think about it. The car that they bought, it turned into a lemon a month after they got it. Am I right? We all feel like we're making horrible decisions 7, 8 times out of 10. So what are we looking for when we buy from somebody? We're looking for somebody we can trust that's going to take care of us when all heck breaks loose. Millionaires, are you cultivating a pleasing personality? You know, you've heard me talk about this before, but influence is directly tied to how much we can sense you put our interest above your interest. I'm going to say that again because it's important. The amount of influence that we give you over our life is literally determined by how much we feel like you put our interest over your interest. This makes your personality pleasing. Am I making sense? Am I making sense to somebody? They're not just buying your merchandise, y'all. They're buying your personality. Scale of 1 to 10. How much do you cultivate a pleasing personality? Here's the second one. Showmanship. Showmanship. Oh, Will, why are you texting me right now, my brother? What is going on? Showmanship is number 2. Showmanship. The master salesman is also going to be a super showman. You know, how much pizzazz and flair do you put into your presentation so that you can get to the mind of your prospect, right? How much do you dramatize your presentation? How much color do you give it so that they remember you when you leave? What do you do that's new, different, and interesting that can arouse interest? Anybody got any ideas for that? Anybody got any ideas for that? I would love to see it in the comments. What are some ideas that you have that make you stand out from everybody else? You know, where's your showmanship? You know, even when you're doing your live broadcast, even when you're taking pictures for social media, there are so many opportunities to be a showman. And some of you nail it. Some of you have incredible presentation. But some of us, it's almost like we're just going through the motions. I challenge you to find that creative spark. We always say creativity is next to godliness. Where do you rank yourself? Scale of 1 to 10. Here's the third one I got for you. Self-control. Self-control. Okay, so what do I mean by self-control, right? The master salesman exercises complete control over his head and his heart, right? He knows if he don't control himself, he can't control this conversation. He can't control his perception in the eyes of the prospect. You know, the prospect says something you don't like. You don't have the luxury to argue with them. You know, you have a customer that's getting on your nerves. Yeah, well, you don't want to ruin that repeat purchase. And you realize that every single problem is an opportunity to create loyalty, because we know anything that is wow, W-O-W, is always going to breed loyalty. We know that. We know that problems are the gateway to prosperity, because once we solve this person's problem and we do it with flying colors, they're like, wow, this is somebody I can count on. Now they'll buy anything you have, right? They already bought your $10 product. Now they're ready to buy your $100. They already bought your $100 product. Now they're ready to buy your $1,000 product. And it's all tied into the level of self-control you displayed. Am I making sense? Here's the next one. Initiative. Initiative. How proactive are you? How much do you take initiative? You know, the master salesman understands the value of not being reactive, but proactive, right? He never has to be told what to do. He rarely has to be told how to do it. You know, if anything, he's going to jump out there, make the mistake, or she's going to jump out there and make the mistake, and then you'll be able to help them with some opportunity for improvement. But because they cultivate this keen imagination, they use it and they create plans, which they translate into action. This is called initiative millionaires. And, you know, this means that you're like the person that we described in the beginning of the week when we were talking about how, yeah, the person's a team player, but they're also autonomous, right? This is the kind of person that starts to need little supervision. This is the kind of person that starts to be one of the most valuable people in the organization because they need the least maintenance and they start to help the boss maintain everything. You get what I'm saying? They start to help the company spread the gospel. You get what I'm saying? They start to become somebody who's taking equity and ownership in the vision, even though the vision was given to them. How many of you can say that you've joined an organization, learned what the vision was, and then are taking every ounce of your being and putting into helping to implement and manifest that vision? Because you are becoming the most valuable person on your team at the point you do that. You get what I'm saying to you? The next one is tolerance. Napoleon Hill talks about how tolerance is strength. A lot of times we look at strength as being so inflexible and rigid and stern. But what if I told you actual strength is flexibility? Actual strength is being open-minded. Can you see not only your point of view, but their point of view? Some would say this is very connected to emotional intelligence. How good are you at tolerating the things that you don't like? You know, the other day, I was in a restaurant picking up my food, and they were showing this commercial of these two cats, you know, in full beards, and they was holding each other's head like they was about to tongue kiss and whatnot. And I heard this little girl behind me. She was like, "Ew," you know, and that's okay because she's a little girl. You know what I mean? But as you begin to grow and get mature, is that the kind of reaction that shows tolerance? No, it doesn't. You know. I'm not going to go too far into that subject, but I kid you not, it was a commercial for some kind of medicine, and they both had full beards, you know, and they was holding each other's head and whatnot. It was a wild commercial. And all right, I'm gonna leave that there. The next one is accurate thinking. Accurate thinking. Accurate thinking. What does Napoleon Hill mean by this? Accurate thinking. How much trouble do you go to gather the facts, right? How much of your thinking is based around emotion rather than you jumping out there and actually dissecting this and looking at it for what it is? Not that it's worse than it is, not that it's better than it is, but how much of your plan, how much of your strategy, how much of your goal setting is based around accurate thinking? You know, me and my partner, my partner is really good at calming me down because I'm into sales. A lot of times I get really enthusiastic. You know, I don't know if you've ever heard this or noticed this, but everybody who's really good at sales also buys everything. it's like, you know, we just love it, you know? So I come to my partner and I'm like, yeah, you know, this cat, he's working with a $2 trillion dollar company. And then we Googled it. And because he was like, ain't no $2 trillion companies. And I was like, oh, that's a good point. So we talking to him again. I jump on a Zoom. This time I got my business partner with me. And I'm like, yo, so how much is Fuji doing? And he was like 2 trillion. And then we looked it up and it was Japanese yen. People are crazy. So what you have to do is be able to cut through the smoke, cut through the mirrors, and get to that point where you understand that the facts are available, but all it takes for somebody to be able to say something is for them to move their lips and say it. You got to start using accurate thinking if you're going to be a master salesperson. You can't have these immovable opinions, which are not based upon what you know to be facts. All right, the last one I got for you is persistence. Well, number 8, second to last one I got for you. Number 8 is persistence. Persistence. So what am I saying? I'm saying that like a lot of times people confuse intensity as what they really need when what they really need is consistency. I don't know how many of you read our newsletter. I just now put something out about that where we were like, intensity is running a marathon, but consistency is just walking around a block every day. And running a marathon is cool, but you're going to get a lot more value out of forming a habit of doing regular exercise. You get what I mean? There's something I'm going to put in my Instagram stories where this guy was talking about how Jay-Z, who many of us consider to be the greatest, hip hop artist of all time and all of that. And he was like, there was never a year when he was considered the greatest, hottest, arguably best rapper. And then he starts going through it from 1996 all the way to 2011. And no year, I mean, he was like 96 was Tupac, 97 was this, 98 was that, 99. And he starts going through every single year. 2008 through 2011 was all Lil Wayne. He runs through every single year. And he considers himself saying something that's almost like disparaging towards this cat, Sean Carter, who we know as Jay-Z. To me, he proved the point that this guy must be the greatest because he's had all this impact. He stayed relevant all these years, and he was never the hottest, but he was always consistent. Every single year, he would drop again. What does that tell us? That tells us persistence is a lot of times a lot more powerful than intensity. Millionaires, if you're going to be a master salesperson, you can't be the type that's influenced by the word no. You can't be the type that recognizes the word impossible as a thing. To you, everything's got to be possible with enough perseverance. To you, the word no has got to mean 4 things. Not you, not yet, I don't think I can, or I don't understand. Y'all ever seen my blog on that? The 4 meanings of no? It's pretty cool. What I'm trying to say to you is that every buyer is taking the path of least resistance. You hear me? They just going with no because you haven't explained it enough. If you've already spotted them as your ideal client and you know that they have the problem you solve, persistence should be inevitable. Persistence should be the bedrock of this whole approach. The fact that you know that they're going to say no at first. Why wouldn't they? They have to protect themselves. But it is you and your certainty that is going to win them over. The last one I got for you is faith, millionaires. Napoleon Hill says that the master salesman has the capacity for what he calls super faith. And, you hear us talk about that all the time. If you're millionaire minded, you got to have faith in the thing you're selling. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in the fact that the buyer is going to be better off. And then you have to have faith that you're going to close this sale. They may not buy instantly, but everybody's going to buy eventually if you're sure that's your client. You hear what I'm saying to you? And we're not trying to make a sale without the aid of faith. We're not going into it without being certain about what we're selling, certain that it can help this buyer, certain that we have good intentions, and certain we can close that sale. Why? Because faith is contagious. That's why. Faith is picked up through the receiving station of this prospect's mind. This is why they always say people are way more impressed by the depth of your enthusiasm than they are the width of your knowledge. Because to us, your enthusiasm looks like faith. To us, your enthusiasm looks like certainty. To us, your lack of enthusiasm looks like lack of confidence. Millionaires, I dare you, take the adage that faith moves mountains and tattoo it on your heart. Last thing I'll say is that you got to be more observant. The habit of observation will serve you really well. On Obsessed with Success this past Wednesday, we were talking about how to negotiate with power. Do you guys listen in on Wednesday nights? Crystal, you see any familiar faces from Wednesday nights? Are y'all tuning in to Obsessed with Success? Y'all in the house with us, right? Because if you're going to be a powerful negotiator, if you're going to be a powerful salesperson, you're going to need to cultivate the habit of observation. Every word that they say, every change of facial expression, every movement of their body has got to be observed. Its significance needs to be weighted accurately, because the super salesman, the master salesman, is not only observing and analyzing everything that the buyer does and says, but he's also making deductions from that. Like, what did that mean right there? Huh? Or are you just sitting there letting life pass you by? Nothing can escape the master salesman attention. I hope y'all are feeling good. Yeah? Y'all ready? All right. So where are you on all 9 of those? Scale of 1 to 10? Scale of 1 to 10? Okay. We got some obsessive success folk in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Every Wednesday we do obsessive success. And not for nothing, y'all. The new newsletter comes out today at 3:30. You guys are used to me doing free coaching Friday. I didn't do it this week because we didn't have quite enough questions to cover. And sometimes I don't like putting people on the spot and just going off the fly with the comments, because y'all get scared. Y'all don't want to look like y'all are asking questions for some reason. And I've noticed that pattern. So now we do something about it, and we just let you write in. So when you get the newsletter, you can write in with your questions. And then next Friday, we'll do a free coaching Friday. I think we have a Kaizen Academy this weekend. We'll tell you what it is. But if you want to know, then join the newsletter. Go to millionaireminded.com. Put your name and your email in the box, baby. And we are off to the races. Right now, it is affirmation time. It's affirmation time. Before we do, I dare you post one thing you're going to apply from today, and then tag me in it. One thing you're going to apply from today's training. Post that on your timeline and then tag your boy, so I can share it on mine and we can give you some love. We can help hold you accountable, which is the same thing. All right. It's affirmation time. Call in right now. If your phone line tries to charge you, just text call me to the same exact number. Text call me to the same exact number. It's affirmation time. Let's go. Repeat after me, millionaires. Say it like you mean it. I am so happy